Hello, dear viewer. Are you all right? You're looking well. Right, this is an ABW preview. It is our very last one of the season. And as somebody suggested in the chat box, no, not the chat box, the YouTube comments, which everyone always says down below, where else they're going to be? They're always below. So I'm not going to tell you where they are. You can figure that out yourself. They said in the comments, why don't you do one live? So this is the last one and the first one we're ever going to do live, probably. So with me this afternoon is now 6:45 p.m. on Tuesday, the 28th of May, 2019. Put that in your diaries, people. No particular reason. It'll probably already be in your diary, unless you've got a dodgy diary with a day missing. It's Josh.
Hey, Danny. Oh, it's always good to hear you waffle.
I've actually set up my my own podcast as part of ABW. It's an offshoot thing. You have to have it in the same account. So some of you lot might be able to go and find it and see what it's called. It's going to be me and one other person waffling about shit all week, or for an hour, maybe every now and then, and see how it goes. Are you all right?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks. Are you going to call it the Waffle Stompers?
It's called I'm Not the GFP. And it's done like the letters of Run DMC. That is marketing expertise, the like of which you'll never see.
As we would say, no promoting other podcasts on the podcast.
Well, it's part of ABW's thing because you had to do it from the same account. Yes. So also, it's only Chris Carpenter, the man who invented the live. Oh, you right, Chris?
Good evening. Yes. I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Remember when we first started doing these live shows, I got the when the fucking thing doesn't work, I'm going. I'm leaving. I've had enough. And you lot figured it out on your own.
I do. Heady days of blurry cameras and awful mics and no Wi-Fi or Wi-Fi alone. And yeah, I remember it well. Badly.
Oh dear, great days. Right, so in the chat box, we might as well say hello to Cosmic Kid 95 Winston, who's left us some wonderful comments about the shows that John and Jace and the Crystal Palace fan did. We shared that with the rest of the ABW, and they're all quite moved. Thanks, Rob Vapes, MY25, which is Michael in Sweden. I'm sure it is. It's Mr. Goonaholic, who is doing a wonderful preview of blog, and he always sticks this in with a preview, so that'll be out later tonight if we get a move on chop like Dave says. Who else have we got in there? Stelios Stilianu. Come on, lads, my tea's getting cold. You can tell by that he's English because he has tea at 6 o'clock ish. Matt Sanassi, the man who invented the new Arsenal intro, which is absolutely stunning, and if he ever makes an outro, we'll stick that in as well. Mario Rivas, that's someone we know. He's used to do his own podcast. Pablo Amar, Arsenal fan. Oh, hello. Ben Murphy, Brandon Jason Grosso. He says, I stole the European logo paper. He's put a little picture up with the Europa League trophy, and he says he's stolen it. It's for ours. The Mr. Arsenal podcast, who does his own podcast. He's there. Datac LBC and Jordan. I'm not going to say that, just Jordan. Right, so normally we don't say hello to people, so we're going to start this off with the usual information. Scroll back up to the top because Chris left the thing and I have to start it again. Right, Arsenal v Chelsea, 8 p.m. Wednesday night. Where can you see the game? I hear nobody asking. Good. In the UK, because BT Sport have realised that they are killing football by not allowing people to watch it unless you pay an absolute fortune through the nose, they're making it free. So if you go to their YouTube channel, and I think if you have it on some of their other like Satellite and Virgin and places like that, I think that's also free. So you can go and watch the final for nothing. Oh, that's a novel idea. In Ireland, it's exactly the same. They have it on Virgin TV Go, BT Sport 2, Virgin Media 2, and BT Sport Live. In Australia, it's Optus Sport. In Canada, it's DAZN. In the USA, they've gone football crazy. It is on TNT USA, 3 different Univision channels, Unimas, Bleacher Report Live, and Watch TNT, which is, I think, Ted Network Turner. I've got no idea what that is. And this one, if you are stuck in Azerbaijan and you can't get a ticket, don't know how you wouldn't be able to get a ticket because no one's buying them. You can actually watch it on Azerbaijan TV with Idman TV and CBC Sport Azerbaijan. So there you go. If you're stuck in a pub and you missed the game, just watch it there. And in the UK and Ireland, you can listen to it on BBC Radio 5 live. I don't know why they say live. All their BBC stations are live. Right, Josh, stop me waffling on. Have you got any information about head-to-heads?
I think I do, Danny. So head-to-heads. So this is versus Arsenal, Danny. Presumably you mean versus Chelsea.
There's always one bit I mess up, isn't there? So head-to-head finals against ourselves. How have we got on?
Yeah. So we have played 197 times against ourselves. No, against Chelsea. We have won 76, drawn 58, and lost 63. I would say most of that 63 have come when Chelsea became a proper club in 2002?
Yeah, when football was reinvented.
Yep. We have played Chelsea in 3 cup finals. It's the FA Cup final, the Mertesacker one, I think we all know it as, 16-17, where we beat them 2-1 with 2 people that don't play for us anymore, scoring those goals, Alexis and Rambo. The 2006-7 League Cup final, where we lost 2-1. That was the one where we put all the kids out, I think. And
WWF at the end.
Yeah, absolutely. And the 2001-2 League Cup final, FA Cup final, won that 2-0 with, it was only bloody Ray Parlour and Freddie Ljungberg getting the goals for us. So this is also Arsenal's 8th European Cup final.
I've been a bit sneaky here. I've included the European Super Cup, which isn't really a final, but go on.
Well, we've won 2 of them anyway. So we've got, hopefully we've got a better record after tomorrow. So we have got, Danny, is this the entire record of our European finals? This is incredible.
Fill it, Josh, because we've not done a show in 2 weeks, so fill it. Pack it out, make it sound more interesting.
So we start in 1969, 70. They put Man on the Moon, and we also won the Intercities Fairs Cup, which was is now the UEFA Cup, 4-3 versus Anderlecht. That was on aggregate. Those games were generally across 2 legs at that point. 79-80, we were runners-up in the Cup Winners' Cup. We lost to Valencia on penalties. In 93-94, we won the Cup Winners' Cup 1-0 against Parma. 94-95, runners-up in the Cup Winners' Cup again when we lost to Zaragoza. 94-95, runners-up in the European Super Cup. We lost. How did we get to the European Super Cup if we lost
the season before? It's always from the next season. So we won it in 90. I did a podcast with Alan Smith the other day, and he asked how you were, Chris.
You tell me what? Sorry.
Alan Smith scored the goal, didn't he? In the
Yeah.
one of the night. I did a podcast with him the other day with Mike and Andy from Gooners Pod, and I asked him. You two will appreciate this. I asked him. I said, as you work for FIFA and you do the commentary on the games, how comes Gary Lineker has got an Icons card and you don't, when you've won 2 league titles and he hasn't won any?
I'm guessing marketing reasons behind that, potentially.
I said he needs to have a word with him and see if he can sort something out. But it is brilliant. If people want to go and see that, I was on it intermittently because my internet died. But it was Alan Smith, Mike from the Gooners podcast, and me. And it was really, really good. What a lovely bloke Alan is, and Mike isn't. Sorry, Josh.
That's all right. Because I was only going to talk about how we lost 2-0 to AC Milan anyway.
Didn't happen.
Didn't happen. 99-90, runners up in the UEFA Cup. That was lost to Galatasaray on penalties.
Ooh.
And the 05-06 runners up in.
Just stop it there, Josh. Just stop there.
We'll just stop that. That didn't happen. We should say we should have been in more European finals if it wasn't some dirty Liverpool fans.
Yeah. We mentioned that as well in the podcast with Alan Smith. You should go and watch it, people. It's brilliant.
Dirty Liverpool fans that we are very much respectful of and appreciate and love very much at the moment.
On Wednesday.
Actually. No, on Saturday, not on Wednesday.
Saturday. That's it.
Yes.
Come on, the lads.
So, Chris, that was our form in the history. How was our away form been in the Europa League this season?
Yes, it's obviously a neutral venue, very neutral, with like literally nobody there. So yes, we're kind of classing it as an away game, if you will, because we are obviously away for the Emirates. So away form in the Europa League this season, I played 7, won 5, drawn none, lost 2, which given our league record is not bad. Scoring 13 goals, conceding 6, and 4 clean sheets. Remember those? Which is not bad. If you lay that against Chelsea's record, they've played 7 also, of course. They've also won 5, drawn 2, and lost 0. They've scored 13 and 4 clean sheets. Wouldn't you know it?
I had to say that 3 times because I thought that's got to be me messing stuff up, but it wasn't. That's exactly how it happened.
Yeah, the only difference is they conceded 2 less goals than us, but they did also play some farmers, a couple of bank employees, 4 postmen, and a plumber. So it doesn't really count.
What a wonderful draw that was for them.
Indeed, not for Frankfurt, of course.
We've already proven that we can do it in a cold, windy night in Baku as well.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, did we really? I suppose we sort of did. Yeah. We'll take that. We got the job done, didn't we? In terms of injury news, that's obviously quite a big focus at the moment. Arsenal's is fairly straightforward. We know Rob Holding, Hector Bellerin, and some bloke called Suarez. I think he's a kit man or a ball boy or something. I don't know. They're out for the season or out of the club. One of them in one case. Obviously, Aaron Ramsey has gone to Italy. Screw him. He's not us anymore. I'm joking. He could make a
surprise appearance on the bench, either Welbeck or Ramsey.
No, Ramsey's definitely not. I think there's no way he'd have been pictured at Juve looking around the ground if there was any chance he'd have been out with training with the team. So no, I don't even think he's travelled out there. I could be wrong on that. He's probably in Jason Davies' suitcase at the moment somewhere. Sorry, Mrs. Ramsey, if you haven't seen your husband for a few days, but Jace will take good care of him. And the good news, Danny Welbeck has travelled and training and is all smiles. I still wonder if he might have a future with us, because like when they announce players have left and then all of a sudden out of either desperation or lack of thought, in our case, they've re-signed them anyway, or both.
The old Andy Carroll situation.
Old Andy Carroll, yeah. Or in our case, the old Sol Campbell get the old boys back together again situation. So I wouldn't be I'm not saying we're going to, but I wouldn't be surprised if Danny did still have some sort of a future. But if he doesn't, and it's his last appearance, great to see him back on the bench, because I think nothing gates Eddie Nketiah, but you want experience, so that's good. And as for Chelsea, I think there's a little bit of shithousery going on with Chelsea, personally. I'm convinced of it. We know that Hudson-Odoi and Ruben Loftus-Cheek will miss the game. That's definite, because they both got one leg between them. So I think that's definite. Also, Antonio Rudiger will also miss the game with knee surgery. But there's a little bloke called Conte. I'm not going to call him Conte because it's Conte, for Christ's sakes. But there's talk that he was ruled out. Then he was having a fitness test. Then he was ruled out again. Now he's having a fitness test. And Sarri will decide late. So in other words, he'll play. So let's just say he'll play. But we also know he'll play out of position. So it is what it is. But as far as I know, that's the only injuries Chelsea are going to have. And barring anything dramatic, that's all the ones from us as well. So hopefully we'll be all right.
But then the players they've got out is really quite. I mean, if Kante doesn't play, and Rudiger has been one of their best players this season, and Loftus-Cheek and Hudson-Odoi, they're 2 players that I'd worry about, because they're fast, clever, goal-scoring, set-up assists. They're all the things that you want from a player. And between those players that's that 84, 86, 136, 140, 160 games this season, those 4 players have played. So that's a hell of a dent for their team. At least our players, ones that are injured, have been injured most of the season. We've managed to play around them.
And don't forget, they lost one of those on a pre-season or post-season friendly. I mean, how stupid does that look now? But yeah, I mean, they've got match winners, and they can defend. But I think if we don't go after their fullbacks, I think we're missing a trick, because Alonso is better going forward and is a competent left back, but nothing particularly special. Azpilicueta is a very good servant, and he's a quality player, but I think his best years are behind him. And David Luiz, I mean, you just never know, do you? One day he looks like peak Baresi, and another day he looks like peak
Zidane.
Yeah, basically. Well, no, not even that good. He looks like peak Senderos. No, not even that good. Mustafi, no, that's harsh. But you know what I'm saying. He on his day, he can look quality and a really, really good defender. On other days, I would favour Lacazette and Aubameyang getting a chance with David Luiz at the back personally, and Christensen is still, fairly inexperienced. So I think the midfield is where we've got to win that midfield battle, and if we do that, I'd fancy our chances against their back 4, or 5, whichever it is.
We have missed one key player that's also missing from that as well, Mkhitaryan.
Yep.
Who travelled in the instance he might get axe in his back or face.
Lazy. So, I'm
Just not
joking,
committed.
obviously.
It's disgraceful the way they're doing that. The whole thing is a shambles. When we first realised we got to the final, we're going 6,000 ticket seats. That's an outrage. We need more than that. They haven't sold 6,000 each, have they? They went gold, silver, red members. Then they were giving them away to passers-by. There was like that person in the street leafleting saying, "Come to our restaurant." There was tickets all over the floor as far as the eye could see. They had to pick them all up and start again. But it's an absolute shambles. But it's a 70,000 seat stadium, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah, it's the dignitaries, isn't it, that have got the majority of the tickets. I mean, we without wishing to sound a bit salty about this, I do think that the Mkhitaryan thing, I think our supporters and the club have rightfully called it for what it is: a shambles, a disgrace, a joke. All of those things apply. I do think the ticket thing is a little bit of a red herring, not in so much that it's unfair. Clearly is, but this is UEFA. We all knew this would happen. The final shouldn't be in that country, full stop. And that's, again, nothing against Azerbaijan. I'm sure it's a beautiful country, but facts are facts. They don't have the infrastructure, and it's a country that there's far too much going against it for a final of this size to be played in it, in my opinion. And I do think that the fans who've gone out there, God bless them, and there's been some really fantastic stories. I think there was a lady tweeted pictures of her on a plane saying, "I'm way to see the boys." I've seen Tim Stillman's posted a few good pictures on Instagram of him out there. God bless everyone that's going out there and be safe. But I do think that some of our fans, we like a moan, don't we? Bless us.
That's how we make our non-living from moaning.
We do, and I do think that if you're at home, as us three will be watching in front of the box, doesn't make you any less of a fan. And if you go every single week, week in, week out, and you're out there, fantastic. But if you've chosen to overlook this one, no worries. Don't feel like anything less. Don't feel like any less of a fan because you're not. The structure of how this has been done, the ticket allocation, the fact that I don't think everyone feels safe going out there. And it's a midweek game, which obviously makes work difficult for people. God bless you all that have gone out there, but those who haven't, don't worry about it. Be behind the boys, and the 12th man and all that jazz. Arsenal will win that trophy off their own steam. Having fans, it's not like Chelsea are taking 40,000 out there. We're both level, and I think probably for the first time ever, you're seeing some almost sort of polite nods of approval between both sets of supporters because they're both out there going, we're here. It is what it is. I think the apart from the idiots, you'll always get them. I think there's almost a casual kind of nod and a wink of respect between two sets of supporters until the whistle goes, where I'm sure it'll all be rival and hostile again. But it is what it is. And our very own Chimp is out there as well, isn't he? He's going out there, so safe travels to Neil as well. But it is what it is.
We should add that because of the ticket situation, and to be fair, the location, it's difficult for a lot of our UK-based fans to get over there, and we're seeing that. But it's also the case that some of our fans out there are actually able to get to this game, and it's not too difficult for them. And the chance to go and see Arsenal at a European final, we've put it in the right place for certain countries. We've got a lot of fans in Asia, a lot of fans in Africa, the Middle East. If they can get the visa, it's not too much of a stretch of an imagination for them to get to Baku. And we've already seen, I think with Tim Stillman again, to reference him saying that there's fans from across the globe who have been able to get their visa and get into Azerbaijan and wouldn't normally get this opportunity if it was elsewhere. It just so happens it's fallen well for, we are a global club and we have a global fan base. And the fact that we are, the fact that we've got close to that 6,000, we've only sent, say, 2,000 back. It's just the majority of us couldn't get out there because of that expense. But some of our fans have been able to. And for those, you've got to applaud them. And they're going to support as hard as anybody would at the Emirates or at Wembley or wherever else they would hold it.
Didn't the Grand Tour with Clarkson and that lot, didn't they drive to Baku in one of the recent episodes?
They did indeed. The F1's also there as well.
It should never be there. It's ridiculous. If you had a week off, lovely drive. Baku is a wonderful place, amazing city. Love to have gone.
And we should say as well, this is going to sound, like sort of me standing on a soapbox and shouting down where it's not my place, but I'm sure people are sensible enough. But I think that there's been a little bit of talk that some of our fans that have gone out there are almost courting trouble with Mkhitaryan shirts, and
I saw Sardia retweeted one today of two blokes. They looked from that kind of area, and they were walking. Both had Mkhitaryan shirts on, and they got stopped by the police. I mean, they didn't look like they were from the UK, but I thought, well, they've been a bit brave. But they were saying anybody who has IAN, the last letters of the name. So John Sheridan hasn't gone. The last two letters of my surname is AN, so that's why I didn't go.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying to our fans don't support the way you want to, but almost think of it as going to White Hart Lane. Some people who go to those games tend to think, do you know what? Maybe today isn't the day for club colours. It's not about the fact that you're, less of a fan or anything, but people who are courting problems. If somebody wants to go for you or pick on you because you're English or whatever, they will. But if there's a reason and you're almost sort of offering that reason, just be careful. That's all I'd say. I think maybe the time for the time for win it for Mickey is when the trophy's in Laurent Koscielny's hands or on the plane back. Then by all means, But I just think that at this stage, I think it should be about the team that's out there.
It was like the World Cup in Russia, wasn't it? Fundamentally, there's some things you do and there's some things you can't do. Unfortunately, or fortunately, we're in a country that has decent moral values when it comes to all creeds, colours, and races of people.
Even
and it's not, we say that, but it's not like that around the rest of Europe. And unfortunately, some people will be forced by countries' politics they won't be able to attend those. And you can find any example because of our fan base is global, that we won't be accepted in certain countries. And to be honest, some of our fans won't accept some of our own fans because of their creed colour. But that's one of the issues that's plaguing kind of the UK at the moment.
And we just want our fans to be safe. Like that's all we're saying. We're not trying to be sort of preachy. We just don't want to see a repeat of Galatasaray 2000. And if you don't know what happened out there, just Google Leeds, Arsenal, Galatasaray, and you'll see. So just be careful wherever you are supporting from. If you've gone out there and maybe just sort of just think before you shout certain things or wear certain things. It's ridiculous that we have to say that, but people are adults. Hopefully they'll be fine.
What do you think about the formation that I've put in there? I've put Chelsea have played a 4-3-3 attacking, according to the transfer market, every single game this season. That's how they've started. They've played 62 games this season. We've played 57, I think. And I said, like us, they've had a different starting 11 for some of the early rounds of the Europa League. But as they've got further and further in it, and as their league competition has realised they're only going to get third, fourth, fifth, that kind of area, I think, like us, they mainly concentrated on getting to the final. And with those possible 4 players out, maybe not Conte, but Josh, the lineup that I've put there, starting with Kepa in goal, do you think that's going to be the probable lineup?
Yeah, I think so. So you've put Kepa between the sticks. I don't think he'll come off if he's asked to, shall we say, based on his last cup final appearance in the Chelsea shirt. Luiz and Christensen at centre backs. Alonso, maybe. He has been switched out with is it Emerson? The other left back.
Emerson Palmieri.
Ex Roma. He's come in a little bit when Alonso was a little bit.
Is he more defensive than Alonso? That's why they're bringing him in.
I think he just actually listened to Sarri.
And
Alonso.
He's an attacking. He's an attacking forward. Attacking wing back.
Yeah, and then you've got Azpilicueta right back. I know why you gave me this now, Danny.
Why?
Trying to say Spanish Dave's name.
We've lost our one, haven't we? Julio Unpronounceable's gone to FC20 in Holland.
Yeah, shame that.
Then we've got Jorginho in defensive midfield role, or just kind of like deep line playmaker. We say Kovacic, and probably Barkley in central midfield. Depending on Kante's fitness, it's probably Kovacic will come out of that, and it would generally be Barkley, I would imagine, would start. Then probably Big Ollie Giroud up front. I think Higuain doesn't play for them in this cup, so probably him to start, and Hazard and Pedro playing as the wide men. We might see something a little bit different. Willian might start in place of Giroud with Hazard going up top. But it's kind of one of those that we'll see how Sarri thinks with it. But yeah, do you want to go through the players to look out for as well, Danny?
Might as well.
I think because we get to see the Premier League side, see them like week in, week out, especially one of the big six. So Eden Hazard, he's probably the one I'd be most worried about. He does like turning up at big occasions. It's irritating. It's mainly against Spurs though, so that's okay. But
last game for the club as well, potentially.
Yeah, absolutely. So 51 games. He's got 19 goals and 16 assists. He's having an absolutely stellar season for them. Giroud has played 44 games for them. He has got 12 goals and 8 assists. 10 of those goals have come in the Europa League, though. So just that's something to look out for. And I think we know everything that Olivier Giroud can do for you or not for you in a side. Pedro in 51 games, 12 goals and 5 assists. Danny,
yeah,
why have you put a player that doesn't play for them anymore in this list?
What did I put?
Alvaro Morata.
Oh God, no! That's meant to be Fat Boy. I wonder why he'd scored so many goals. That Italian, he's won. Oh, I just realised. Am I talking through this microphone here?
I don't know what you're talking through, but let's put it that way.
Is it? Oh dear.
Let's put it this way. You mean not Alvaro Morata, but Gonzalo Higuain. He's played 24 games, 9 goals, all of those against relegated sides, if I remember rightly, and 0 assists. Willian has then got 55 games under his belt, 8 goals and 14 assists. And finally, Ross Barkley, 47 games for them, 5 goals and 6 assists.
Do I sound any different now? Because I've first changed my settings. Awful. What I didn't put down there was as per unpronounceable. Has got 9 assists from right back, but he has played some games at centre back. And Alonso has got 6 assists from whatever position he can be bothered to play on the day. So there you go. How do you think we're going to line up, Chris? So you and me disagree on one part of this, don't we?
Do we? Which bit?
You sent out one of your trademark Carpenter reel him in tweets with any fan who doesn't want Czech to start is an absolute shite hawk.
No, I did not say that.
Well,
it did get a lot of traction. I was quite surprised because I didn't think people would have quite such opposing views. No, I'm what I would say is I don't feel that if I had the decision to make, I would play Leno because he's our best goalkeeper right now. Like that for me, I think some people took the tweet the wrong way and were suggesting that I was trying to suggest Czech was the right person to play. I'm not saying he's the right person to play. I'm saying I have no issue with him playing. And the people I was questioning were those that were suggesting that because somebody has leaked the fact that he's leaving to potentially join Chelsea, which is not Czech himself, I should stress. This was leaked ages ago and it was only recently, I don't even think it's actually been officially confirmed, but I think he was sort of forced to come out and sort of say, I will be moving on. And the papers have said, obviously, he's going to Chelsea's technical director. Well, that's all fine. But the idea that he wouldn't be professional in a final, the idea that he'd drop the ball in his own net, I think in a weird way, it's almost like, thanks, Stan the Man. I think it's almost like people are preemptively trying to make sure that nothing happens. Do you know what I mean? They're almost like saying, well, if he does this, and I just don't think, and it's almost the worst thing now, because if he makes any sort of mistake, that's what everyone's going to jump on. I think he'll play. I think that's been in place for a while. If it was up to me, I would play Leno, but I think Czech will play. And if we win it, God rest, and God hope, nobody will mention the goalkeepers. Nobody will give a shit. So, and in fact, actually, what will happen is everybody will go, "Oh, that's bloody lovely. That's absolutely lovely that Czech's won it." You know what it's like.
Emery,
so I hope it's quiet.
So Emery did say something in his press conference today that I don't know, continues to leave that can of worms slightly ajar. Should we say that he said the first 11 tomorrow? I want to tell the players first. I want to tell them tomorrow. Petr Cech is a great man, a great professional. I want to do something important with him, playing or not playing. So I imagine first minute he's going to sub him off. John Terry's like ovation, and then Leno goes and goal.
Well, what that sort of says to me is like you said there, Josh. It says to me that he's leaving the door ajar because he maybe, Emery may not have made his mind up at this stage. He might not be completely serious. But I tell you what will happen is if he doesn't play Cech and we do win the trophy, Cech will be the first one up there to lift it. I guarantee you that will be what will happen because Koscielny's that type of captain, Emery's that type of manager. They'll send Cech forward to lift the trophy. And again, I don't want to jinx it too much, but I think that's what will happen. But maybe Unai Emery is, and also he wants both his goalkeepers training at the highest possible level until the minute that game is, or till that team's announced. So he's saying all the right things. And as for the lineup, like Danny was suggesting there, I think it will be a back three. I'm not sure how I feel about that, if I'm honest, but I would feel confident or more confident in Monreal, Socrates, and Koscielny as that three, with AMN and Kolasinac as the fullbacks. I would imagine. I think I'd feel more confident in Torreira and Xhaka. Despite my reservations about Xhaka, I think, I love Guendouzi, but I think this is a game for experience. So I think you play your best two available players in those positions at the moment, which are Xhaka and Torreira with Ramsey missing. And I think he goes Ozil in a sort of 4-2. What would that be? A three. How would that be? A three back with five in midfield, I suppose, with Ozil in the 10. 3-5-2 essentially with Lacazette and Aubameyang up front. I have a feeling he'll pick Ozil. I do have a feeling. I don't know whether you think the same, Josh, or whether he'll go with the sort of the careful option in Iwobi, but I think he'll give Ozil this game. What do you reckon?
Yeah, I think it's the perfect stage for him to die on that hill of what he's going to do with Mesut Ozil, because
silence doubters as well.
Yeah, well, someone's going to have to silence some doubters in that game, because either he turns up and we see a match-winning performance from Mesut Ozil, or it just shows that he's kind of. I've come to the conclusion. I think after he won the World Cup and everything that's gone through, he's just lost that kind of fire in his belly, that kind of extra elite mentality that he used to have, that we did see prior. That's kind of just slowly fizzled away now from Mesut Ozil. I think we've seen it with all the World Cup winners, to be fair, that we had. All the Germans have basically, gone off the boil. Basically, we saw Per retired, you could say, arguably super early for him at 32.
Somebody doesn't rely on pace.
Yeah, absolutely. He could easily have played another 4 or 5 seasons. And
especially if
Mustafi,
he'd gone back to Germany and picked a middling German team.
Yeah, Mustafi, arguably, we saw a drop-off in form, possibly before that, but certainly afterwards. So it's one of those that I think the formation, as you say, Chris, is probably about right, with Kolasinac, Maitland-Niles as the fullbacks, possibly Aubameyang out on the wing, and we see more of like a 4-3-3. That's the only change I could see, is perhaps we keep our cards a little bit, because we can name 12 on the bench as well, which really helps us for this European fixture.
We can have 12 subs.
Yeah.
Bloody hell.
Yeah, for the final. We can only put 3 on, but we can name 12 on the bench.
Is there one extra if it goes for extra time?
Yeah. So I think it will be a case of, have someone like Nacho and Mustafi on the bench. So if you want to go to 3 at the back, you've still got that option. But you don't necessarily, have Kos and Socrates start in the middle. And then, Xhaka, Torreira, I think, are the first 2 names on the team sheet, to be fair, after the 2 strikers. It's just a case of building the rest of that team out from there.
Right, I think we should. We've got a couple of questions here. Archie asks Chris about William Salabia from Saint Etienne, who've had a magnificent season under the leadership of Debuchy.
Not yet. when you say leadership of, yeah.
Up front, he's a legend. No, he's played a lot of games.
Oh no, he's been absolutely brilliant. I just would question the idea that Debuchy's been the leader. There's a lot of smoke in this one. Well, I say a lot of smoke. There's been a lot of rumor. Gasset, the coach of Saint Etienne, hasn't exactly fanned those flames, but equally he hasn't denied them. I think he was quoted in a press conference at Saint Etienne's last game of the season. They finished fourth in Liga, and he basically sort of said a word to these effect that all players have their price, but that he was not looking to lose any of the squad and was looking forward to the Europa League next season. So standard procedure from the club who's got an interest in a player. I think it's a signing that makes a lot of sense. We're actively scouting in France, but we are also looking around other European leagues. I'm led to believe there's a couple of German or players in the Bundesliga that we're also looking at quite in-depthly, shall we say.
And there's wingers that played for England.
No, I think more defensively we're looking in the Bundesliga, but there's also talk of the lad from Spanish club whose name escapes me, who we've been linked for forever. But no, you know the one I mean, don't you? Is it the Valladolid or?
Do you know?
Espanyol or someone? Is that Espanyol centre half? Spain is not my bag, I must confess, as you know. But
I could spell his name, but I couldn't say it.
Anyway,
my life.
Spanish Jeff to his friends. There's been a bit of talk about him, but Calero, that's the guy, isn't it?
That's not the one I was thinking of.
Oh, okay. Anyway, him. But as for William Saliba, yes, it's a signing that makes a lot of sense. Genet. Okay, Genet.
That's the one.
I think it would make a lot of sense. And if you look at the likes of Issa Diop, who West Ham took a punt on last summer, who a lot of people said, he's from the French league, he'll be trash.
He was a great centre-back, wasn't he? You rated him.
Been fantastic. Yeah, Toulouse. I actually preferred his partner, Christophe Julien, who's still at Toulouse. But yeah, Diop's been a really good success at West Ham and proven a lot of people wrong. Listen, at the end of the day, if you sign a 20-year-old who's a prospect in France and it works out, i.e. Guendouzi, you treble his valuation in a season. If it doesn't work out, he maybe goes on loan somewhere, you sell him on, you might lose 4 or 5 million. It's a shot to nothing. We don't have the money to sign a Samuel Umtiti. As I said in our group the other day, if we sign Samuel Umtiti, I will quite happily strip naked and pleasure myself in the middle of the city centre several times. So, nobody wants to see that. I certainly don't. So I don't think it's going to happen. I think that we'll be priced out of that one. But yeah, Saliba's, he's, for those who don't know, he's a stocky for his age, centre half, very good in the air, decent with ball at feet. I wouldn't say Rio Ferdinand-esque, but he can play a pass. The thing I do like about him is he's got very good vision as a centre back. He's not a guy who just lumps it, but equally he's not a centre back who he's not going to overplay from the back, but a little bit like Koscielny. He'll step out comfortably with the ball, but he knows his place. Once he's delivered that pass, he'll drop back in and get in. But we have to say at this point he's very raw. So we'll see.
If people want to hear more mutterings about French football from you, where can they hear this?
They can indeed hear this. French Football Weekly podcast I host along with Jeremy Smith, Rich Allen and Philippa B. So if you want to listen to that, we're recording on Thursday this week because we couldn't make we were going to record tonight, funny enough, but one of the crew couldn't make it. So we'll be recording Thursday where we'll go through our teams of the season. And we'll also have a look back at the last game of the Ligue 1 season, and we will be talking about potential transfers in and out of Ligue 1. So if you want to know a bit more about Ligue 1, and I will tease a certain Alexis Claude Maurice, who I know a lot of people are asking me about. We'll be discussing a few of those on Thursday's pod. So yeah, have a look. Sniggering as the mighty Khan got relegated on the last day of the season. I wasn't going to mention it, but join us. Come join us in Ligue 2, Danny. It's a wonderful place. The League of Champions. Indeed, where all your players get pillaged every summer, and Lorient threw it away in very Arsenal-esque fashion. on the final day. So well done, boys.
Right, a couple of people have been asking questions. So, Josh, what goalie would you start, and would you change him when it comes to penalties? If it came to penalties,
I'd start Czech.
Shite hawk.
I mean,
would you change him if it come to penalties?
Probably because he's shit at them.
So wouldn't it be just easier to play Leno, but start with Leno? No,
because I think we can win the game without Czech. Well, with Czech in goal. I don't think it'd really come to penalties. I think we can win the game in 90 minutes.
We'll throw enough in his own net to make sure it doesn't go to penalties.
I just think, so as Chris said, that, Czech has been a professional and he is a professional. And I just completely expect him to take personal glory over the fact of wanting to help his, new employers by him being a loser. Nah, not for me.
Reminds me a lot of the Pat Jennings, who was a legend goalkeeper at Spurs. They let him go. He signed for Arsenal, had a few great seasons, and then when he left Arsenal, he retired. He went straight back to Spurs again with his tail between his legs for them never to win stuff again. I take it, Chris, you'd stick with Czech all the way through.
No, not necessarily. I as I said earlier, I would pick Leno based on the fact that I think he's the best goalkeeper, but I'm not going to sit there and be upset if Czech is named. So yeah, I would personally go with Leno.
I'd play Leno, and I would tell Czech, bring your flip-flops because you're never going to need those boots. Right. People have been asking about penalty takers, who we're going to get to take the penalties.
Let's not even think about that.
Yeah,
I don't think I can get through a game if that goes to pens. I know I haven't got it in me.
Villa Boas back at Marseille, or gone to Marseille, says Archie. That's an interesting one. Balotelli's on a free this summer, so hopefully we'll snap him up. Who else is there? I don't think there's been many other questions. Peter Coulson.
I have a question.
Hold on,
it's a very important.
We
question.
went through Pete Coulson just saying we can see the game on YouTube, on BT Sports on YouTube. Yeah, we've already been through that, Peter. And what were you going to say, Chris? Because we're going to go after this. You can ask us about, and the listeners, about predictions.
Yeah, it's just a very quick question, really, and that is that there are at least 100 people watching at the moment, and just 30 there. So, if you wouldn't mind tappy, that would be lovely. Thank you all very, very much. Tell your friends, all 3 of them, and subscribe on Pigeon Cast and iPod and Google Drive.com/wizard. And all those great things. They're wonderful. I don't understand technology. I'm done. Thank you.
If people are wondering why the mental health podcast wasn't on iTunes, it's because WordPress have changed the way they do stuff, and you can't update the website because it's got some other stuff that you need to do, and it won't let you do it. And so we're having to change. The bloke who hosts our website is moving all of his stuff to another place where he can do it, and so there'll be nothing on iTunes for a while. It might pop up at some point, but other than that, we have no idea why it's not working. And Mr. Holick has said, I'll post some stats about Czech and Leno in my preview. Be prepared to be surprised. There you go. What better reason do you need to go and have a look at the wonderful Mr. Holick's blog? Here we go. Matthew D'Souza. Are you worried about Ashley Maitland-Niles seeing that he's been a bit shut your face, been a bit ropey of late?
Ropey?
I wouldn't say he's been ropey. I think he's been playing his arse off trying to turn into a right back, hasn't he?
I was going to say, I think he's just a midfielder playing at right back and doing his best. No, I thought his game against Valencia was probably the best performance he's had in a while. Do you agree with that, Josh? I mean, he's the best option there to start that game, surely.
I mean, he's our only option. That's the problem.
Fair point.
I'm just watching. It's really weird because he really looks like my uncle. Sarri storming off from training.
Yeah, Ryan Mayo's just put that.
Define storming. What is this? Just people getting overexcited again, or
no? He's walking off the pitch, and I presume that he said, "I know we don't have any human rights here, but you still can't smoke in the stadium." And he's throwing his towel down.
So he's not actually bothered about the game,
I don't know what he's doing. He's just
no fallout. He just wants a fag.
He's just walked off the ground and has just thrown his hat on the floor in disgust.
There we go.
Do we think that?
Go on, Chris.
I was just going to say, I think a lot of people are reading into this whole Sarri to Juventus thing, and will Chelsea be motivated thing. I think people are reading into that way too much. I think if anything, it almost works in Chelsea's favour, knowing that he might move on, because if players think that they might have a new manager coming in, they're playing for their shirts. So I don't really think that means anything. Do you? I just don't think it. I just don't think it changes anything personally. But it's just me.
Ryan,
I almost want it as calm as possible.
Ryan's got a conspiracy theory. Any chance Chelsea want to throw this game? So sorry goes.
Oh yeah, if they want him gone, then Roman Abramovich and his several £billion will make that happen. No problem whatsoever.
Nicky Wilson says he has got a tenner on free bet at 9-1. It's cash out for £30. What do I do? Chris, you're the betting expert.
Sorry, say that last bit again.
Nicky Wilson has got £10, a free bet.
Yep.
On us to win 9-1. It's a cash out at £30. What does he do?
Cash out and then don't enjoy the game.
Yeah, I was going to say, I've learned the hard way. Don't bet on Arsenal unless it's both teams to score, because that always comes in. No, take, because the problem you've got then, Nicky, is that if things are going your way, you start to focus on your money more than the game, and vice versa. So, and if we lose, you'll get doubly pissed off. So, no, never back your own team unless it's something like goals or cards or corners where it could go either way. Just don't bet on an outcome, because it ruins your enjoyment of the game.
Cash it out for £30, go down the pub and get a few pints, and then you either celebrate or drown your sorrows.
Or reinvest the money and bet everything on Liverpool to try and make sure that the unthinkable doesn't happen.
Oh no, because if Nicky's jinxed.
Oh yeah, fair point.
Has he gone full Jonah Welsh?
Yeah, he might do.
Take all the money, invest it in the Pirates. Job done.
Rob Vapes, a couple more quick points, and we do predictions. Rob Vapes says, "What's Emery's rating out of 10 with and without a cup victory?" I'd say this season I'm going to give him a 7.5, because his job was to get us into the Champions League, which is one game away from doing that. And if he wins it, I'll give him a 9 out of 10, because he's managed to do it with a struggling, unfit team. Chris?
Yeah, similar. 7 for me. And as you say, if he wins it, it goes to an 8, because he's achieved objectives. He's managed some pretty difficult situations. At the same time, still definitely room for improvement, being objective. So yeah.
Josh?
Yeah, same as Chris. A 7 for his general season. Maybe a 6.5, because I know it's been difficult, but some of the style that he's trying to perceive, I don't think he's done that too well for us this season. But if we win a trophy, up to an 8, especially a European trophy, because we haven't seen one of those for a while, as we've said in going through the stats. So I think if he does that, then yeah, it goes up to an 8. Probably a 6.5 rather than a 7, just because of the performance in the league, that arguably we could have had Champions League secured before this game.
Just telling Sean to pick me up at McDonald's on the way home, because I can't use the kitchen because it's full of party stuff. Right, Russ Morgan, tempers fraying in the Chelsea camp, ? Hishwan and Aspen Unpronounceable came together in training. I don't think he means sexually. And Sarri is furious. Maybe it was sexually and he wasn't part of it. So that could well be it.
Again, I think people are reading into these things too much.
That's the fun of the fair, isn't it?
Yeah, fair play. Yeah, I honestly, I couldn't give a shit if somebody literally took a shit on Sarri's pillow and it ended up in a 15-man brawl. We need to look after Arsenal, and if we turn up, at our best performance on our day, we can beat anyone, and we can certainly beat Chelsea. So we've got to look after our house and not worry about what the opposition are doing. Let's worry about what the opposition are doing on the pitch. It's a European, not a European Cup final, but you know what I mean. It's a cup final in European competition. There is no way that, no matter who hates Sarri or hates Emery or whatever, when that whistle goes at 8 o'clock kickoff, both teams will want to win that trophy, regardless of who likes who. So let's look after our own house. I think that's just my opinion.
Okay, that's my order done. So, next thing from the chat box, people, if you would be so kind, I only want you to put in the score, your prediction for the score, not scorers or anything else like that. And if you put it in just like that, then we'll read it out. We'll start off with Josh, your score. Oh, hello, Alonso, he's just popped up. Yeah, your score, Josh.
I would say 3-1 to Arsenal.
Oh, I like where you're coming from, Squire. Chris, sit back down, boy.
I am sat down. I'm going 2-1 Arsenal. I wish I was as confident as Josh, but I have a horrible feeling it'll be a lot tighter than that.
I'm going to go 3-2 Arsenal. It's going to be a smorgasbord of goals, and if you do put any money and you make any money on 3-2, I want you to all to give to the Barbican Pirates. We're doing a fundraiser for them later. It was within the next month or so, and there's going to be stuff to be given away, not just our love for the Pirates, Chris?
No, I don't know how much you want me to say or don't want me to say, but
tease them.
Big season potentially ahead for the Pirates, or more importantly, big summer. And yet again, I'm on the beg. Who'd have thought? No, we've teamed up with a fine gentleman who I'm sure a few of you will know as Shewar.
Chopsy.
We're not going to be giving away what we're giving away yet, but let's just say the top 2 of 3 prizes are bloody awesome.
They're all over. As soon as people buy them from Gav and Shewar,
they're sold out.
So they were immediately sold out, and he's put a couple behind for us, one of each thing, and people are delighted with them. As soon as they get them, they tweet a picture of them, and they are really, really good. I would have both of them if I could, but I can't.
Yeah. Absolutely. So, we'll be giving those away, as well as a cheeky gift from the Pirates as well. The Pirates will also be giving away a prize. And basically what we're going to do is we're just going to do a standard, was it £5 entry, I think, Danny, isn't it?
I think, because both of these things are well worth 10 times that, £5 per entry. Every £5 you donate, 100% of it goes to the Pirates. We don't take anything. We do it so PayPal can't take anything. And every single penny, plus the Pirates have got their own Twitter feed, and Chris will give you the link to that, and you can keep an update on what they do. He's always tweeting about every game. He takes photos of every game. And it's just good sport, grassroots football, and we will link you up to when we do it to the last 2 that we have done, and we had a discussion about grassroots football, and you can see you just turn out of a ball and off you play. It's not, you don't. They charge you a bloody fortune, and it's ridiculous. So the Pirates need all the help they can get, and not just managerial wise.
Yeah, they definitely need that. And we're having a full squad rebuild this year. We've let a lot of players leave. A few players left of their own choice. So we're more than any other summer ever, we've lost 2 sponsors this season, so more than any other summer we need an influx of people. So if you are listening in the Plymouth area, just by any chance, get in touch. But no, we'll be doing open trials, which means we need to buy new balls, which means we need to hire new premises for summer training, which obviously then means we need to hire better equipment for the guys and essentially sell our club to new recruits. So the better we can get, and that's before we even think about insurances and pitch fees and all the stuff that goes into the work we put in. So not wishing to beg it, but anybody who enters, 100% of the money will go to my holiday. No, I'm joking. No, we'll go back into the club, and we are planning, touch wood, to include every single person who does donate will be keeping their name, and every single person will be and selling their details to PPI companies. No, we'll be putting every single person's name on our Twitter account, individual shout outs, but we'll also, I've got something I'm thinking about doing, which will be a permanent fixture within the club, which will mention everyone's name who enters. So it's a bit cheesy, but I like cheesy. So,
good. That's what they like. And we've seen with ABW, we've helped out the Pirates quite a lot in the past, and we just want to carry that tradition on. Yeah,
we'll record soon, Danny. I'm quietly confident we'll get together probably end of this week, start next, I imagine. So be good.
Right, on to predictions. Will Graham, 2-2. Urgel 2203 says 3-1. Russ Morgan 1-1 will win on penalties. Alonso Spencer says 4-3. And Krishan Pandya says 3-1 Arsenal. Liquid Veston says 2-1 Monreal 90th minute winner. Archie says 2-1 Arsenal Alba man of the match. Renry says 2-1 Chelsea, you cheeky monkey. 95 Winston says 3-1. Let's see if I can scroll. Oh, see, as usual, you've you bloody scroll down and the entire lot disappears. Pete Coulson says 2-1 Arsenal. Alonso says 4-2. Oh yeah, 4-2 the Arsenal. Nicky Wilson 0-0 Arsenal win on pens. Mr. Arsenal podcast, you should go and listen to. He does some fine podcasts. Says 2-0 the Arsenal. Hashtag Heyman Aubameyang hat trick. Ryan Cost 3-1 Arsenal. Brandon Jason Grosso 4-2 Arsenal. Hassan Ramzan says 1-0 Arsenal Lacazette. Nope. Mr. Hillary says 3-1 to Chelsea. Cheeky. He said he thinks they were beaters. Well, fair enough. Have we got any other predictions? No, Brandon, I'm not reading that out. It's politics. We don't do that. We save that for other people who know what they're talking about. And I think that's it. There you go. So, should we do? I'd like to. Oh, Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious Arsenal Dosha says 2-0 to the Arsenal. Lovely, jubbly. Right. If anyone else puts any in the next 30 seconds, I shall read them out. Josh or Chris, would you like to say hello to anybody before we go? A gentleman's nod.
No. I mean, hi to Neil, because I say he's over in Baku, I believe. I don't know if he's there already, but I know he got tickets. So that's Chimp. Yeah. So best wishes to him. Maybe just a cheeky shout out to Mr. To the very own Lord Hillwood.
Yeah.
Hopefully he's doing well and is listening in from sunny Poland. So all the best to Steve as well.
Josh?
Carl can go fuck himself for the district line.
Did he ruin your trip to London?
He did.
Dark Justice is in attendance.
I missed my connecting train because of the district line.
Oh dear, oh dear. Cohen says 2-1 to Chelsea. And Daytac LBC says she is too scared to make a guess. So there you go. My gentleman's nod. If you can see behind me, hold on. I need to do one of these hands because it's reversed. Happy birthday. It is my daughter's 21st birthday tomorrow. I know. How have I got a 21-year-old? Shut up. Yes, to my wonderful daughter and only child, and I'm sure that she is my only child. She's 21 tomorrow. If you want to go and say happy birthday to her on Twitter, feel free to send her nudes and dick pics. It's at SIAN and then Sweetman. Yes, that is our surname. So Sean, SIAN, Sweetman. Go send her as much abuse as you want. She is an Arsenal fan. She's seen Arsenal play at Highbury, the Emirates, Barnet, Peterborough, maybe somewhere else. I have no idea. Oh, here we go. Stephen Gunnar Dawkins, 4-1 Arsenal. Hashtag Heyman. Everyone's saying happy birthday to Sean. Matt Sanassi, the man with the intro, says 8-0 Arsenal. What better way to end a podcast than on Matt Sanassi laying down some facts and truths? So make sure I'm in the right window. There you go. I will leave it to Josh to tell me to turn this shit off.
Oh, Danny, turn this shit off.
Come on, the Arsenal.